Hi, I'm Trevor, the EIDL expert. If your small business received a COVID economic injury disaster loan or an EIDL loan, EIDL loan, it's not economic impact, it's not economic income, it's economic injury. If your business got that assistance from the SBA during the pandemic, today's video is for you. And today's video, I'm going to discuss the update on the new SBA short-term payment assistance program. Quick note, if you would please help us out here. We spend a lot of time and energy putting these videos together. If you could take the 3.5 seconds to hit that thumbs up button and to subscribe to the channel. When you do those two very simple and free things for these free videos, you're telling YouTube the video has value. YouTube will share this video with other small business owners just like you, so we can get this important advice out there to as many folks as possible. And in advance, thank you. As of this week, June 22nd, 2025, here's some information we are gathering from folks with regards to the new SBA short-term payment assistance program. And as a recap, on March 19th, 2025, SBA canceled the previous Hardship Accommodation program and launched the new short-term payment assistance program. Guidelines appeared on the SBA website as of about May 30th, 2025. What we're seeing in terms of feedback, and I'm going to read some of those comments for you in just a moment, but what we're seeing is people seem to be getting approved with just a letter and fairly quickly. That having been said, I feel like with some interactions I've had with about a half dozen, 8 or 9 of our clients over the last 2 weeks where we're assisting them with that process, that SBA seems to be slowing down. And therefore, it is a very important element of this process that you understand this. If you were in a previous hardship program with reduced payments, if that has expired or is soon to expire, or if you are in regular payments, you're not in hardship payments, you must continue to make full payments, your regular monthly payment, while you wait for the SBA to respond and hopefully approve your request for short-term payment assistance. By example, here are some of the comments we've gotten. Our friend Giselle Balboa, if you've watched our other videos, you may have seen me mention Giselle a few times. Here in this comment, Giselle writes, "Got approved for June to November." Yay, congratulations, Giselle. Rob Rovegno states, "I got approved for a 6-month reduction. Thank you for your advice." Rob Rovegno, you are quite welcome. It is, as always, Linda Ray and my pleasure to assist all of you and provide this free advice here on YouTube. And again, all we ask you to do in terms of payment is hit that thumbs up and like the video and subscribe to the channel so you're updated when we provide more advice. Thanks, Rob. Create Your You for You says, "Just came by to say thank you, Trevor and Linda, for your help." You're quite welcome. "They finally emailed me back and I got approved for 6 months of half payments. I sent the information through the portal." Well, Create Your You for You, we truly appreciate you and all of you other lovely folks who have subscribed to the channel and who continue to follow our videos. Again, all we ask you to do is a very small payment, is hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you need assistance with your COVID EIDL, please click on the link in the description. Whatever the assistance is, whether it's you're selling assets, you need assistance with short-term payment assistance, you're closing your business, whatever that assistance is, we have products and we have a service available, 1-hour consulting calls. Click on the link in the description. Okay, so I'm back to Giselle Balboa. I bring back this because Giselle does comment frequently about her experience with the short-term payment assistance program, as you saw a moment ago. Here's another one where she says, "I emailed them to follow up status of short-term payment requests since no person in the customer service line." Yes, because there is no one left to answer the phones at the SBA because Loeffler fired everybody. Giselle goes on to say, "The response was, quote, request in queue and will be answered in order of receipt." Okay. Giselle continues by saying, my concern is my due date is the 15th of May. Do you think if I send a payment for 50% for this May 15th due date, just so I am not late in case they approve and just not processed yet due to the long queue, will it make them angry and decline me all the more? Okay, a couple of things. There's no emotion at the SBA. I mean, there is, but there's none. So it's not a matter of a bureaucrat getting angry and declining you because they're angry with you. It is important that you continue to make your full payments. I can't stress that enough. Make your full monthly payment until you get that approval. Next, we have doldrums 3505. I too received an SBA short-term relief assistance help. I was due for my last HAP payment. Sorry, but the P's kind of tripped me up there. I was due for my last HAP payment at 50% on May 25th. So I sent an email with the letter explaining why I needed it at the end of April, and then 8 days later, I received an email that I would receive notification once my request has been processed. Okay. Again, classic SBA dysfunction. I don't know. I think somebody at the SBA thinks that they're doing you all a favor with this automated response crap. You don't want to deal with a bot. You want to deal with somebody, because if you fail to make these payments with the SBA, the consequences are very, very severe, and in many cases harms you professionally and personally for the rest of eternity, if you will, because if you default on a federal debt, as we've discussed in previous videos, it stays with you, and you will be prevented from getting other government loans or grants or participating government contracts in the future. SBA, please, you got to do better. Okay. Several days ago, I received an email from SBA saying that my request was processed and granted, and next payment will be at 50% starting June 25th. Congratulations to doldrums 3505. This last comment is from Marilyn Melendez 3081. And this is rather concerning, and why you will see this week another video where I discuss the SBA's mismanagement of the repayment system. This is a really good example of that. And Marilyn states in her comment, my second one, and I'm guessing she means Hardship Accommodation Program, was approved February 6th, but now they are telling me it was denied for being presented too soon. WTAF. Yes, SBA, we are talking to you. Marilyn and I are talking to you, SBA. What the actual fudge? Oh man, now I want fudge. And it's summertime. Perfect time to go to Cape Cod and get some fudge, right? Marilyn, let's go. Road trip. Yeah, SBA, we're talking to you because what does that mean? That being denied for presenting a request too soon? Marilyn, by the way, and SBA, that's not the only time I've seen that. We had a couple of our clients from the U.S. Treasury mess last year that we assisted who also, I knew what their deadline date was for the end of a 6-month period, and I sent them reminders, hey, don't forget, you have to request an extension, and 1 or 2 or 3 of them sent it in before the 6-month period was up, and some were approved, and the other one got an email saying it's too soon. Then we changed our strategy to telling people, okay, if your hardship ended on the 16th of the month, the 6-month ends on the 16th of the month, then, request on the 17th of the month. But, why do we all have to do this many acrobatics to interact with the SBA and attempt to repay this really important debt? Okay. In response to a client who booked a 1-hour call with me who told me about this short-term payment program, we created a guidebook, which if you'd like to purchase is in the link in the description. That guidebook prepares you for what you should do for the short-term payment assistance program. Now, essentially at this point, as of this week, what we're seeing, the feedback we're getting, and please, if we're wrong, we ask you to comment below on this video and tell us what experience you're having with the short-term payment program. But essentially what we're seeing is the folks seem to be getting approved without much muss or fuss. we're seeing that folks are getting approved with simply the written explanation letter that SBA requires, which is asking for the short-term payment assistance, explaining what your temporary situation is and what your plan is to overcome that temporary situation for cash flow operations or whatever. In the guidebook that we created, we provide not only strategic advice on how to put that letter together, how to look at your business and how to kind of prepare these simple statements you have to put in the letter, but we also provide you with a template of how to structure the letter, a format, if you will, to try to ease your path towards getting approval. Because as this client reminded me on that 1-hour call way back in April, he said, Trevor, I know I'm only getting one chance to do this, so I want to do it right. And that is why we created the guidebook. Also in the guidebook, we cover other ground just in case SBA asks for supporting documentation, things like profit and loss statements, cash balance sheets, and so forth. And all of that we've covered in the guidebook. But again, what we're seeing from the comments here on YouTube and from feedback from some of our clients is that it seems to be working with just the letter. We have already heard from multiple people where they're telling us, oops, I was still making the hardship payment, or I couldn't afford the payment, so I didn't make the payment at all. And we've already assisted one client who was delinquent by 2 payments, and our advice to him was bring the loan current immediately. Don't take any chances, even though the guidelines state that the guidelines don't really emphatically clearly state this, but they seem to imply that you can be delinquent on payments right now as long as you're not more than 120 days delinquent, which is approximately 4 months. And please remember, 120 days is not 4 months, because some months have 31 days. And SBA clearly states 120 days delinquency. So they're counting delinquencies based upon the days delinquent, not the months. Unlike a mortgage payment or a car payment or a credit card where they say to you, hey, you're 1 month behind on your mortgage payment or your car payment. SBA is tracking it by the day. Therefore, it appears that the guidelines are giving you some latitude if you're delinquent on the payment right now, as long as you're not 120 days. But as we discovered at the end of 2023 and early 2024, and as you're going to see in an upcoming video with the SBA about the mismanagement of the repayment system, the SBA cannot be trusted. And therefore, our standing advice is that if you are delinquent, you should make every effort, find the money, and make that loan come current so that you can maximize your chances for success in getting approved for the short-term payment assistance program. We already know that on day 1 of her taking over the SBA, Ms. Leffler, the new SBA administrator, made it clear that she was setting out to collect every penny loaned out under this program. And if that is the kind of cultural bias, if you will, internally at the SBA, you do not want to take any chances. And again, if you want to maximize your chances, if you need a template or you need background on how to prepare the letter, click on the link in the description to purchase our guidebook, which is priced, we think, at a very reasonable price. Here's an interesting development also with today's update. What we've seen with these recent clients that we're working with directly, as I said, I forget if it's 6, 8 or 9 clients. I interviewed each client, they put together some basic notes, and then I helped them polish the letter that they were going to submit to the SBA to request short-term payment assistance. Each of those clients, following the instructions that we can all see on the SBA website, where it says, in order to request short-term payment assistance, your loan cannot be more than 120 days delinquent, you cannot be in charge-off status, and you must send a written letter with those explanations, short-term, temporary problem, and what your plan is to overcome that problem. And that's what we had each of our clients do. Send an email to the cesc@sba.gov email address with the letter. And in the body of the email we said, please consider us, I hereby request short-term payment assistance. Well, one of those clients got a response from the SBA a week later that said, please submit a letter. I know I've been saying this for 5 years, but when it comes to the SBA, I'm serious. Like, you can't make this stuff up. And if you've dealt with other government agencies that are this bad, please, you know, like if you're in the farming business, you've dealt with the Department of Agriculture, if you've whatever other government agency you've dealt with, if you could please comment below and tell us if you've had the same bizarro, absurd, dysfunctional experiences that we and most all of you in the audience have had with the SBA. Because I'm going to tell you, as a former mortgage banker where I specially focused on government lending for 30 years, that's Federal Housing Administration, FHA loans, and Veterans Administration, VA guaranteed loans. That's all I did for 30 years. And if you've ever had to deal with the IRS, and I have personally never seen the kind of bizarro absurdity of how the SBA just cannot get its act together. As I said to somebody recently on a 1-hour consulting call, I said, you know, if you or I ran our business the way the Small Business Administration runs its agency, we'd be out of business by 3 o'clock this afternoon. This situation where somebody sends an email, where somebody reads the instructions on the SBA website that says, send a letter, and we send the letter, and we get the automated response that says, okay, we'll send your request to the appropriate department. 7 to 10 days, somebody will get back to you. And 7 days later, that person gets a response from the SBA that says, send a letter. What are you doing at the SBA? It is unbelievable. I mean, people are stressed out enough about the assistance that they needed during the pandemic and the nightmare they're living now, because you all folks at the SBA, you think everybody's a criminal, so you're trying to root out fraud wherever it exists, and we've done videos about that. You're trying to collect every penny on these loans, and we've done videos about that, and we're going to continue talking about that. Can't you find a way to just make it just a little easier by getting your together, SBA? I want to close today's video by saying this to all of you folks. We have another channel called Simple Sense for Small Business. If you could help us grow that channel, please jump on over there, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get that channel up and running. In terms of monetization, we'd like to make a few dollars from doing videos there. Right now that channel's not monetized. So if you could do that, we truly appreciate that. Over on that channel, we have hundreds of videos about advice, strategies, operations, marketing, the fundamentals, the kind of stuff that you don't learn in school if you're studying business. You don't. We know that because we both, Linda and I, worked in business for decades, and the videos we put onto the Simple Sense for Small Business channel are based upon our experiences of looking around in the worlds that we operate and going, wait, why aren't they doing that? And you know, likewise with dealing with you here on you folks here on this channel, and having spoken to thousands of small business owners over the last 5 years, 7 years actually, you know, what is it that you need to be successful? Well, we have the answer for you, and it's on the Simple Sense for Small Business channel. More to the point, this short-term payment assistance program is only temporary. It is 6 months of 50% reduced payments. And in the letter that you send to the SBA, you have to tell them what the temporary problem is and what your plan is to overcome that. If you are the kind of person that's just going to leave things to chance, then what I'm telling you right now, this advice is not for you. But if, on the other hand, you are serious about your small business and keeping it alive, not failing, not defaulting on the loan, not going to bankruptcy, but actually saving your business, managing repayment of this debt, then please visit the Simple Sense for Small Business channel. Please watch our videos, hundreds of them, where you will find, I promise you, ideas, inspiration that will help you overcome these issues and figure out what it is you need to do with your business to maintain your business, get it back on track if you're kind of off the rails a little bit financially, or pivot and change it completely so that you can continue to work for yourself and not have to go and get a job working for someone else. I personally, I could never do that again, and I'm happily self-employed for the best part of 7 years now. And you know, the advice that we gave over there was out of our commitment and our passion. Because unlike the politicians in Congress who say small business is the backbone of the American economy, Linda Ray and I actually truly believe that you folks really are the most important element to the American economy. And in our small way here on this channel and on the Simple Sense of Small Business channel, we have striven over all these many years to support you by giving you free advice. So please pop over to that channel to look for information. I promise you, it's there to help you manage whatever difficulty you're going through, or even if it's not difficulty, to help you overcome obstacles or create new strategies and just get a few moments of inspiration. When I'm done recording this video today, I'm going to record a video called Books, Bench, and Billy for that channel, and it's inspired by my Linda and I going out to run errands yesterday, and what we saw, which was books, a bench, and a guy named Billy. And the advice we give in that video is about fundamentals of marketing and how 3 different businesses approach the idea of getting the message out about their business and earning revenue to keep cranking along. If you found today's video useful, please hit that thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. If you need assistance with your COVID EIDL, please click on the link in the description and that'll take you to our website. You'll find what products and or services we offer. We're still doing 1-hour consulting calls. We're closed for the month of August, potentially restarting calls in September. We don't know yet. As always, we truly thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.